We've got to keep Phoebe away from Shane. Where is he?
He's not here yet.
Not here? He better show up, because without his testimony, Taylor doesn't stand a chance.
All rise. Los Angeles Superior Court is now in session. Judge Owens presiding.
You may be seated.
Bring in the jury. Ms. Totoro, is the prosecution ready to present its case 96598, County of Los Angeles versus Dr. Taylor Hayes?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, very well. Let's get on with it.
Members of the jury, you may feel like you know this defendant. Maybe you've bought her books or seen her on TV. Dr. Taylor Hayes is a well-known psychiatrist, a member of one of LA's most prominent families. And as I'm sure the defense will tell you, the devoted mother of 3 children. But there's another side to Dr. Hayes. I'm going to prove she's also a liar and a killer. On the night in question, Dr. Hayes got into her car after consuming alcohol and struck down her own sister-in-law, Taylor Forrester. What Dr. Hayes did that night left Darla's husband stricken with grief and his little girl without a mother. But it's what she didn't do that may be even more shocking. If there was really nothing Dr. Hayes could have done to avoid her victim, she would have come forward, but she didn't. Instead, she chose to lie. She lied to her victim's husband, she lied to her own family, and most importantly, she lied to the LAPD. Now, you must ask yourselves, are those the actions of an innocent person?
Dr. Hayes had no intention of leaving her home that night, but her teenage daughter was stranded alone on PCH. And at the very moment that Phoebe called her mother for help, Phoebe was approached by a stranger, a homeless man who came out of the dark. Phoebe was frightened and she dropped her cell phone. Now I ask you, if you were in Dr. Hayes' place, what would you do? Would you let a glass of wine keep you from rushing to your daughter's aid? I don't think so. Was it the smartest decision? Maybe not. But it was an understandable decision, and it certainly was not the cause of Taylor Forrester's death. As a matter of fact, we have an eyewitness who will testify that Taylor Forrester fell back into the road at the very moment that Dr. Hayes came around the curve. Taylor Forrester's death was a tragic but unavoidable accident. Now, the prosecution talked about the victim's daughter losing a mother. I agree. There's possibly nothing worse that could happen to a child. But if you send Dr. Hayes to jail for this, you will be robbing 3 more children of their mother. This woman before you is not the monster that the prosecution wants you to see. Dr. Taylor Hayes is a loving, caring mother who made a couple of very regrettable mistakes. And I know that when you've heard our witness, when you really understand what happened, I know you'll make the right decision and set Dr. Hayes free.
Ms. Totoro, prosecution may present its case.
I know you're busy people and you want to get back to your lives, so I'll make this as straightforward as I can. Rather than stand here and tell you what I think happened that night, I'll let the defendant tell you herself. Your Honor, I'd like to present Evidence Exhibit 1, the signed confession of Dr. Taylor Hayes.
Bailiff, present this to the jury.
It's all there in black and white. The defendant admits to drinking, driving, and killing her sister-in-law. She takes full responsibility for Darla Forrester's death.
Your Honor, counsel wasn't present at the time that confession was made.
Dr. Hayes waived that right.
Prosecution may continue.
Do I really need to say anything else? The defendant has admitted her guilt. I'm just asking you to hold her to it.
I encountered Dr. Hayes at the hospital shortly after the hit and run.
What did you notice about Dr. Hayes that night, Lieutenant?
She had alcohol on her breath.
Did you administer a breathalyzer test?
I would have if Dr. Hayes had admitted
That
her.
issue's already been dealt with, Lieutenant. Is there any evidence to suggest that Dr. Hayes' blood alcohol level was above the legal limit on the night of the accident?
No.
Mr. McGrath, were you present at the scene of the hit and run that killed Darla Forrester?
Yes, I was. And let me just say that
How far away were you from the scene?
Well, I was close enough to see.
Were you standing on the shoulder?
No, I was in the bushes.
So your view may have been obscured.
No.
Was there a light, street lamp?
On PCH?
So it was dark.
Yeah, it was real dark. It was foggy, too, that night.
If you really saw what you claim, why didn't you come forward? Surely you must have seen the case in the paper.
Well, you know, you don't exactly get a paper delivered on your front porch when you're homeless.
So you were desperate for money and a place to live. Can you make her stop? Where are you living now, Mr. McGrath?
Oh, I got my own place.
But you've been living somewhere else the last few months, haven't you? Remember, you are under oath.
Taylor and her family, they took me in and they gave me this...
You're living with them.
Well, I was working as their gardener, and then I got hurt, and I had a
Would
big
you consider
cut.
yourself a loyal employee?
A loyal employee? Yeah, sure.
Loyal enough to see and say anything to help protect the people responsible for getting you off the street.
Your objection.
Withdrawn. Thank you very much, Mr. McGrath. Your witness.
McGrath, you said the Forresters took you in. Why would they do that?
I got a job on their gardening crew, and then I got injured, and I couldn't work anymore. I didn't have any health insurance, and that's when Phoebe and Taylor came to my rescue, and they paid my bills. Then they gave me a place to stay. I mean, they were really incredible people.
At this point, did you tell anyone that you'd seen the accident?
No.
When you got the job at the Forrester home, did you tell anyone then what you'd witnessed?
No.
So Dr. Hayes took you in believing you were a complete stranger, or at least unrelated to this incident in any way.
Yeah, that's right.
But you were involved. You were there that night?
I was. I saw Phoebe that night with a flat tire, so I decided to offer up some help to her. And I didn't exactly look the same as I do now. I was really scruffy, and I was dirty, and actually I scared her. So I decided to keep a close eye on her from a distance.
Is it fair to say then, being concerned for Phoebe's safety, that you wanted to stay close by to see her clearly?
Yeah, that's right. And then that's when I saw
Excuse me.
Darla...
Counsel's approach. We'll resume testimony tomorrow.
Your Honor, I haven't finished my cross.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but a matter's come up that needs my immediate attention. We're done here today. This court stands in recess until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Mr. McGrath, you can step down. Bailiff, take the jury out.
No, they have to let him finish.
All rise.
Taylor, everything's going to be okay. You'll be home tomorrow.
I don't believe this. I wanted this over with today.
No.
Mom, he's right. It's just one more night.